Hello everyone, I'm Danielle from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card. I was feeling really drawn to just pulling cards around what messages of love do you need to hear right now. And as I was pulling them and shuffling them, I felt like for one of the piles, I'm not too sure which one, or maybe it will be all three, is going to have a focus a little bit around destiny. So I feel like this is going to be kind of a neat card reading, but I'm obviously not going to find out what's going to come through until I read each pile with you. So yeah, I don't know, I feel really excited. I used different decks for every pile except for I pulled a card from the Anubis Oracle card deck. This is, I think, where the destiny vibe was coming through. So for some of you, I think there could be some answers around maybe relationship struggles or career struggles. I just really felt like I wanted to get answers for you viewers today around just something you might be struggling with. And I wanted the angelic energy to come through because I really wanted encouragement and support and sorry, I'm losing my words, like some encouragement. And I feel like the angels are the best for that, because you could look at all the bad things and why things aren't great right now, or we can look at why the things are happening the way they are and the secret blessings within that. And I kind of like that angle. So that is why I usually use the words like asking the angels for the advice. So that all being said, we have three piles to choose from. We have this cute, teeny tiny selenite tower for pile 1. And then we have this amethyst point. It's actually called something else specifically in this shape, but I can't remember right now. It's like a stronger, supposed to be more potent energetically point of amethyst. And then the third one is, I believe it's probably calcite, but I found it in some dirt near near a tree root. And I just always love it. It feels very otherworldly to me though. It doesn't really feel from this earth, even though when I think most people look at it, they would think it looks like a very earthy grounding stone. I think it's not of this earth. And there you go. So that's pile 3. Awesome. So as always, I just feel like it's so important to make sure you're setting your intention when you're choosing each pile, that you just want whatever you're ready to hear now in your highest good and love and light. And I usually add in the words right now, just because it could be a great message for you, say in a month or in a year. And if it's not serving you now, I just feel like sometimes there could be a better message for you to be watching. So yeah, so just take some deep breaths, set the intention that you only want to choose a pile that you're ready for right now. And then if you're not drawn to one, feel free to find a different pick a card reading. There's so many out there. You will for sure find one you're drawn to. And otherwise, I will see you all in your card readings. Hello, pile 1. So you all chose this selenite tower. Just put them right here by this other piece of selenite. Okay, so let's see what messages you have right now from the angels. We have sense of humor. We have romance angels are helping you. It's time to leave the unhealthy situation. Spend more time outdoors. And this is from the Archangel Michael Oracle card deck. And then we have the Sphinx, Divine Messenger, Earth Altar, Cosmic Library. Ooh, that gives me some Akashic Record vibes. And then we have Moonstone and Tiger's Eye. Oops, sorry. I always try to make them straight, but I end up messing the cards up anyway, so I don't know why that even matters so much. There we go. All right, I think you can see them pretty good. Okay, sorry, I feel like I often bump my camera stand the way it's set up, so let's see if that works a little bit better. Okay, so a few things coming up. Right away, they're talking about past relationships and them feeling like they often burnt you is the language they're using. But I just want to quickly add in that they're saying like this is in the past now, and they see you heading down a totally different path ahead. But there's some struggle here with kicking old habits and old tendencies. And what I mean by that is, yeah, it's interesting. They say like your heart still aches a lot, like it still hurts a lot from these past relationships. And I don't think they were just romantic. This does feel like if you chose this pile, you are people who are very sweet and very interesting. You would either have like would be what people would call an earth angel or a star seed, but your star seed origins would be from a planet where there was less what's the word I'm looking for? There is less of an ego in that planet, but there's always like a balance between light and dark in the universe. But I just think wherever you originally came from, specifically the ego wasn't such a big thing. So when I see you incarnated in this lifetime, I see that you have a hard time not seeing the beauty in people. And this is what has created these sort of heartaches from the past, where you really get attached to the other people. And I don't even see it as unhealthy attachments. I just see that you would really love people, but they wouldn't necessarily treat you the right way. So how I would see this, I would see friends. Oh, it's so funny. They just keep showing me like whoever it was, friends, female friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever your gender and your orientation is. Like I just see like whoever you dated and whoever you're friends with. And even some mentors, I think. A lot of the people you encountered, it was almost like a lessening for you, because you would just almost have these weird confrontation, or they're saying rifts, if that makes sense. Rifts, it's not a word I usually use, but they're using it, so it might mean something to you with others. So what that would look like is, instead of finding a friend who matched your energy in the past, you would find someone who, when under stress or under a lot of pressure, would treat you badly or would put you down. And that is actually what the common denominator is in a lot of your past relationships, I believe, is this putting you down energy. But once again, I want to really, really point out your angels. The reason why this is even coming up is they're showing me that you're really leaving that in the past. And I think you've done a lot of work on this. I almost feel like you've turned more spiritual since then. Not to say all of you weren't already like spiritual or maybe religious, but I almost see them saying like you found new faith, not a new face, in something else. Like they just show me that your relationship with the angelic realm is a lot stronger now, and you trust and you believe. And I almost even think you ask for more of the things you want. And I mean that in the most best and awesome way, okay? I see that before, maybe you would always try to figure things out, or you would take too much accountability in these past relationships. But I just see them saying like that is in the past now, and you're coming in to a new you, a new phase in your life, new people. Like I do think for the majority of this pile, you're still on the bridge between these, like leaving the past fully and stepping into this new way of being. But you're definitely on the bridge. So your heart still has like some aches and pains from these past relationships, because I see that you just actually would really love these people and you really cared about these people a lot, and their like change in personality or their change in the way they were treating you did hurt you. Like it did make you sad. Like you are grieving some of those relationships and still are. And then sometimes I think you have to remember like why that relationship is over or why it ended, because you have like this beautiful ability to just see the best, but you need to remember why it doesn't work anymore, and that's going to help you get across the rest of the bridge into this new world. But you are getting there. So it's interesting because I feel like they have a couple of advice crystals for you. So for helping, I feel like they're saying with the aching and like sort of the hardship you're having with letting some of these relationships go, and I want to like make sure I'm clarifying to this pile that it does feel like you have to let them go. It's just it really can just feel the love you had for them, and that's what's hard, right? Because I feel like you can have these memories or these like little flashbacks where you were doing something fun, or say you want to call somebody up, but then you can't because you've ended that relationship, or that relationship has been cut off. And then there's this bit of sadness. So that's I think what the struggle is. I don't think you're going to go back to that, but you could just use some help with feeling more supported, or like you have people around you. Because I wouldn't be surprised if for this group, you lost a lot of your support system because they were not very supportive, if that makes sense. Like you've almost... like here it says it's time to leave the unhealthy situation. I think you are in the process of doing that. I think you might have cut ties with almost everyone you knew who wasn't treating you right, wasn't supporting you, didn't have your best interest at heart. And so I think these two crystals are coming forward to help you with this phase. So the Moonstone, so much about finding your passion and your joy again, and just I even think for you like your independence and your confidence, because I feel like these past relationships were pretty hard. I think in a lot of ways it broke you down a little bit to have people who loved you, or you trusted and you loved them at the very least, use your vulnerability against you and kind of manipulate the things you shared vulnerably back at you in like a pointed way. So there's so much here about, yeah, finding your joy and your passion again, and smiling again, and stepping into this new version of you. So let's see. It's advice. So Moonstone, I think you could just even keep a piece. It's funny because there's Rainbow Moonstone, which is like that sparkly one. Sorry, my camera battery already died. So I was just saying Rainbow Moonstone is like the shimmery one that is a little more common, at least here where I'm from. But I do think the Moonstone color, I think would be like a peach color if you were to choose to work with this stone, or if you happen to have this stone already. They do like the color orange, and I think that's just working a little bit with color therapy, or the energy of color. The orange would be good. And then Tiger's Eye. This one is so much about abundance and good fortune. I often find that it reminds me of wood and feeling really grounded and confident and assured. That is my own take on Tiger's Eye. I don't think I've ever read that anywhere, but I just think these two stones together are both talking about finding joy, finding the blessings and the good in life and attracting it in, and finding your confidence and feeling grounded and secure in yourself. So that is my perception of why these two crystals have come forward. And like I said, they're coming up directly associated with finding healthier, more supportive relationships that want to see you succeed as much as you want to see them succeed. So mutually respectful and loving relationships. And I just think you're so ready for that. so ready. And then over here, like the card says, sense of humor. So even that's like another little confirmation around trying to like find the joy in life and not taking it too seriously and laughing sometimes. Yeah, it's so interesting. This is just making me think about how I was hearing how there's so much power and so much healing in crying and tears, but there's even more healing power in laughing. So if you like watching comedy shows, or like maybe there's like little comedy skits on YouTube or something, and I think some of you have been doing this. I think this is why this is coming up, is some of you like sometimes listen to like a 20-minute or 10-minute comedian stand-up comedy skit, to keep doing that, because it's just a confirmation, I feel like, that it actually is more healing and high vibrational to laugh, although there is a time and place for tears. But I feel like you've cried so much, you've hurt so much, and you're just so ready to like start getting to that higher frequency, getting into that more positive frequency. And they're just really going on about like you've just felt so much pain, and smiling and not feeling that all the time is a blessing, and that's the direction they want your life to go into. They don't want you to have to feel that ache all the time. And then of course, spend more times outdoors. Such a classic card for when you're not feeling grounded, or if you've lost a lot of your support systems. Mother Nature is probably the best support for us. I'm just thinking, a friend was talking to me about these grounding mats that I hadn't heard about in so long, so maybe it's like a little sign for me to mention them here. So I know some people like to ground with breath. I love doing that. I love also just really becoming aware of how my feet are on the floor and like really feeling it, or visualizing roots come through them. But another thing, there's lots of studies on it. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the guy who studied it and was talking about it, but you can buy actual grounding mats, or you can make your own with some copper wire. Some people put it on their beds. And then some people also, same kind of guy, practice the concept of walking barefoot outdoors for about as long as you can, or for at least, like, I think he has, I'm sorry, I'm so butchering this because it's been so long since I heard this information, but I think it's like spending at least 5 minutes barefooted outdoors. When you live in Canada and there's snow on the ground, it's not so realistic, but I know a lot of other countries, like, you wouldn't get frostbite if you stand on the ground for 5 minutes. So there's probably a lot of other countries where you could do this. Yeah, or standing on the roots of a tree. That is what my angelic teacher taught me. And it actually really resonated with me, because here a lot of our trees, the roots are so big that they come out off the ground. So you could stand on these roots and like stabilize yourself on the tree. So you're being not only grounded, but I also feel like your crown chakra is also being balanced. So that is just some advice. I don't know if you're just, everything's like all over the place energetically, I would imagine that you're like, if I were to look at your chakras, your root chakra would be very unstable and maybe a little guarded, mostly because it's just natural, it's protective, it's not something you need to fix, it's just something you want to support, because I do see like this upheaval of relationships and this like I know it says it's time to leave unhealthy situations, but I feel like the majority energy here is that you have left it. Like I said, you're halfway on the bridge between completely letting those relationships go and stepping into this new you, this new, like, these new relationships. So yeah, you could just really use as much support in feeling supported and grounded. So going outdoors, if you've done that practice of just walking around barefooted, really connecting to the earth's supportive and loving energies, breath work, what was the other thing? Those grounding mats, they are right for some people. They're not right for others. You know, another thing you can do, I was just like, they're just showing me, like, you could get one of those, you know how people take trees and then they'll like slice them and then they'll like laminate them or something, or they put resin on them. You could meditate on a tree stump that's been resined. Is that the right word? Resin? That have resin on it, so it's like protected, so it won't like fall to pieces, but it will be like you're sitting on a tree. That might be a message for someone here. But anyways, I want to like move on past that because not everyone really cares that much about all those ways to ground. Okay, so it's interesting because they're kind of like, we kind of said the most that they need to say about these cards. You want to talk about this Sphinx card now. And the 5 stars are just like standing out to me so much. 5, the number 5. Oh, I guess it's also the number 5 card. So I would say, because we are doing an angel focused reading, that if you're seeing a lot of 5s, it could be a reminder of their support, this good stuff coming in. And I almost even think, like, if you're like struggling with feeling like you made the right choice in leaving these relationships behind, because I do feel like there's a lot of those reminders of those thoughts about the good times, that the 5 might appear in those moments, maybe on a license plate, maybe on a barcode, or on the time. And it's just a little reminder that you made the right choice for you. It was time to leave the unhealthy situations, the unhealthy relationships, and don't look backwards, look forwards, because there's so many beautiful things coming your way. So I think that's like a little message in itself. Divine messenger, so it is interesting. Like, I do feel like 5 is a divine message for you right now. Just to make sure you, if you're doubting it, it's like them being like, don't doubt it. Like, we see you, we see your struggle. Here's the number 5. Know that you're on the right track. So at the start I had mentioned about this card really having some strong Akashic Record vibes. I still agree with that. So it's interesting. I do think this also is a reflection of many past lives in Egypt during the time. So I want to make sure that I'm saying this clearly. Not just the Egypt that as we knew it, but I believe the Egypt pre sort of the loss of information. So when they built the pyramids, when they were using energy in a really cool way to move and manipulate things and travel. This is the era of Egypt in which you were from, or your past life is from, and you probably are a starseed, but the tricky part here is the energy between this era of Egypt and starseeds is the energy is so similar. It's so similar. If not, maybe it's like the same energy. They used a lot of similar technologies and knowledge. Everything was very energetic based. There was less ego. Things were more, I would almost say, like, this is Egypt before it became 3D, if that makes sense. I feel like it was more 5D or 4D, and then it became 3D, and this is the Egyptian, I would say it's a lifetime it's talking about, and sort of a remembering for you. So why is this coming up, and something you need to know right now? I think it's saying that the door is very open for you to access the knowledge from your higher self, which is funny, your higher self, your past self in this lifetime. If you have any questions, about even like why you chose this life, if you have any questions about the universe, like, I just feel like for this pile, it's calling on you to reconnect with, I would call it your higher self, this version of you. And it is very similar to Akashic Records, but it's like, instead of going through the library, I feel like you can go through your higher self. So yeah, it's cool. If you don't know anything about Akashic Records, maybe look into that, but I also don't feel like it's necessary. I think you can just connect to this understanding and the information you're seeking and the guidance and support you're seeking through yourself. So I can ask them how. If anyone here is like, how do I do this? It's funny, it's like, it is through like a meditative state. So, I'm trying to ask for a better explanation, because I'm like, when you're just like starting sometimes and someone tells you that, it's overwhelming still. So I'm like, give me an easier answer. But this group might be a little more advanced in these spiritual practices than I am thinking they are. So yeah, so like a meditative state. Or if you do any channeling, this would be the same way. So they're saying like you could do it through automatic writing if you feel comfortable with that. Somebody here does. If some of you do a lot of dream time work, and I'm saying these as suggestions because it's not going to apply to everyone. These are going to be different answers for different people in the general group. So some people are very good dreamers. So what is that called when you can take charge of your dreams? I can't remember right now. I'm not astral dreams. They're lucid dreaming. There we go. Some of you are really good lucid dreamers, and they're saying you can acquire the information through there and you'll remember it. Other ones of you, it is, yeah, if you can do a meditation, whether it starts as a guided meditation and then you choose one that holds like a 10-minute pause or a 20-minute pause for you to ask questions, but is good at getting you into that meditative state and that quieter mind. And then there's some of you who are a little more experienced or naturally very intuitive and adept at this, where I'm just gonna say, ask your higher self from this era and you're gonna like know how to do it. So you just gotta trust that. Sorry guys, general readings, they're a little harder to pin specific messages down because there's just so many different like levels and experiences in meditation that come through for these. Okay, trying to ask if there's anything else. I feel like this reading feels quite like it's quite done, or it's communicated everything it wants to. There is just a lot of like exciting things coming from this card though. Like it's saying like all these answers that you might be seeking outside of yourself, you will find within yourself. And it's almost part of the lessening right now to go within and find your own truth and strength. And I think it just comes from these past relationships, and this is like a totally new thing for you, but it's good. It's a good growth curve for you to like really be forced to go within and find these answers, because I get this sensation for this pile that maybe you try to go to practitioners, or maybe even go to some card readers or some kind of like, I don't know, like maybe energy workers, but no one can quite give you the answers you're seeking, or they can't see the answers you're seeking. And it's because the lesson is for you to learn to go within yourself and like strengthen that bond and that confidence in following your own higher self and your own guidance. So I'm so sorry. I know that can be really hard sometimes, but I can see you coming out of this very confident and very like powerful in yourself. Like won't be any doubts. This is what's, yeah, it's gonna be so different. I just see them saying like the past you're leaving behind will seem like lifetimes ago in your future. Like it'll be hard for you to connect with this version of yourself now, because you will be so different. You will have grown so much and worked through so much that it's like an energy that you're able to do now because of the energy on Earth, if that makes sense. Because before, it was so much harder for people to almost experience multiple lifetimes within one life, like being able to grow and change so much that they were almost unrecognizable in their next stage. So it's really cool that you're here on this time of Earth when that's possible. You're not just going to have to play out the same archetype for 90 years until the next lifetime. I feel like you're probably gonna have like 5 or 6 different archetype phases in your life where you'll completely change from who you are, and this is one of the major ones. So It's hard because it is something that didn't used to be possible here to do. So best of luck. That's what I want to say. Best of luck. Yeah, I can just see everything's changing. Also, when you choose selenite, I just see this as a total clearing. And selenite only lets basically like high love and light frequencies pass through it. And this is such a good symbol for this pile, because I think this is going to be your new filter, is that you're not going to let people who aren't of love and light and for your highest good pass into your life. Like there's almost like this shield around you of selenite. Super cool. Okay, that's actually all I have for you, but I just wish you the best on your journeys, and maybe I'll catch you around sometime. You're going to discover some really cool things through that Akashic record or that higher self shared knowledge or channeling. It's going to be really cool. And as I was putting your cards away, they're just telling me, wait, you got to mention one thing. It was really, really important that you know that you are so protected right now. Like, you chose the Archangel Michael cards, you chose the selenite, which feels very protective for you. Yeah, they just really wanted you to know that you're so protected angelically, and I just feel like energetically, like it's almost like if you had some weird karma or something going on, they really want you to know that that's over with and that's done. And those types of people aren't going to be coming in anymore, and you are so protected. They keep saying that you are so protected. Know you're so protected and you're safe. Yeah, I just had to mention that. They were really adamant that I just say it really quick for you. Hello, pile 2. So you chose the amethyst point. We'll put it right there. And let's see what messages of love you have from the angels. We have shield yourself, vacuum away fear, power animal, be willing to forgive. Okay, this is interesting. So sorry, just I have to admit, I have to say before I go any further, when I see these 3 cards come up from this deck, to me, it's usually a message that someone is just getting into the spiritual realm. So you might have believed in it before, but now you might be more active in it. So I usually get kind of like impressions that if you're seeing these cards, you might be just getting into mediumship, or you might just be starting to see things that you don't totally understand and sometimes can be fearful of. It really tells me that this pile is maybe at the start of their journey and they're a little uncertain. Usually a lot of fear comes up, and it's pretty natural because everything in our society up until we like start getting into this usually is very fear-based around the spiritual realm. So there is a lot of kind of like fear and ego that comes up around the uncertainty of it, not understanding things, not really knowing how to do things. And honestly, I find there isn't great mentorship when you're first getting into it, unless you're like super lucky and you find an awesome teacher. But I don't think that's the case for most people, or at least the people I meet, at least. We have that in common, where we like almost learn the hard way through it. But yeah, I might just pull the rest of the cards and we'll get into this a little bit more. But there is like a lot of like, they're telling me basic energy, hygiene and protection. And I think it's just confirming that you're pretty new to the spiritual world, or like I was saying, it's like you've believed in this for a long time, but now you're like opening up to it. Like now you're seeing it. Now you are experiencing it. So I did get some extra cards. So we have be willing to forgive, fresh air. Might need to put this up. Okay, good. It fits. It fits. And then it's interesting because as I was choosing crystals, pile 1 had the Archangel Michael deck. But I kept like, I was like, this crystal is so tied to Archangel Michael. This one specifically feels very protective. And I just kept thinking, it has to go on pile 2 because, I don't know, they just need to know something about Archangel Michael. And I'm thinking, seeing all this, it's because you need to just call on him, as your like protector if you're ever scared. I mean, he is the angel of that. Like, he won't let you see anything that you're not ready to see or isn't in your highest good in love and light to see. He's just kind of like the superpower protector. So yeah, I think that could be important for this pile. Okay, continuing with the cards and putting them out. We have joy. I'm gonna put that over there. We have focus on service. I'm gonna put this here. Law of attraction. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put that there. And sacred purpose. Cool, cool. All right, so I definitely am gonna say I'm still picking up a strong energy around the getting kind of way more open to this energy work. And the thing I first am really getting attracted to here is like the law of attraction. So the hard lesson I learned was that my fear in itself made me see things that scared me more because I was always attracting it in because I was always scared of it. It was like this horrible circle of like, I didn't know what to do about it, so then I was fearful of it, and then I'd think of worst case scenario, and then of course I'd come across it because I was like always thinking about it. I have to say that, like, I was always thinking about it and how I didn't know what to do about those situations, and that was not a good stem to go down because it obviously did not serve me or do any good things for me. Also, a second thing coming up is I actually met someone who teaches a course, and I know this isn't going to be for everyone. I know this is a general card reading, but for someone here, they might actually be interested in this. I think, what is it called? This teacher, her name is Diana. Let me actually just look this up so I don't totally butcher it. Maybe I'll pause this. Okay, sorry, just bear with me. I know this isn't for the most of you, but like the guides are like very adamant that somebody, it might even be one person here, would benefit from this. And this is kind of what they've been looking for. So I haven't personally taken this class. Friends have, and they thought it was great. So I'm just going to literally show you my phone. I know it's so like unprofessional, but so her name is Diana Lynn Mayorga, and she started this class called Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it is playing off of the Harry Potter, but it's basically to make it even lighter because of Hollywood and a lot of other things, we have become quite like afraid, or like there's a bit of fear that comes up when we talk about the spiritual realm. And so she had so many students who had problems with like not knowing how to like clear their house, or if they felt cursed, what to do about it, or if they felt like they had an intrusive energy attachment, what do they do? So she was like, you know what, this is silly that no one has a class around this. So she created one. So there's somebody here, or maybe there's multiple people here, and I'm sorry, Diana, if I'm giving you like 20 people, but she does do her classes sometimes online, and if you message her, she's pretty flexible and open to working with you. And then because she has enough people who have seen her, she'll just send out an email list and fill up that class if it's virtual or not. But I think for somebody here, or multiple people, if it's in Canadian dollars. So I know for some countries, Canadian dollars are still quite a difference in currency, but if you're from the US, I think the Canadian dollar is like pretty significantly lower. I don't want to say any numbers for sure because it's always changing. But yeah, so if you're having problems with like not knowing what to do, it would be a great class to like build your confidence. And then like I was saying with the law of attraction thing, like for me, because I didn't know how to deal with it, it was like the only thing I saw was like the creepy things in the closet, but it was because my fear was, I was so scared of it. That's all I would see. And I kept trying to find teachers who would teach me, but instead they would clear it for me and tell me not to think about it, which I'm sure any of you have experienced. That does not work. If you tell someone not to be scared of it anymore, not think about it, it kind of makes you think about it more. And I just needed tools. So it's super awesome if you know someone who offers like a course around that, because I think as soon as you know how to deal with it, I mean, you're like, why was I ever scared of this? It's super easy, and I just want to like really like state here. So a power animal, for example, is a protective animal. It's like a guardian angel. So you could have a guardian angel and a power animal, and if something is bothering you, you can always ask your power animal, Archangel Michael, or your angels to remove it, and then you just clearly state like, this is my space, you are not allowed in. And I need to really emphasize that that is like a universal law. So if even, if I don't know if it's as common, but for me, sometimes I see things with my third eye, so it's not physically on this realm, but sometimes I've seen things in this realm, like somehow they are on the 3D realm. In both cases, it is a universal law. If you say no, you're not allowed to come near me, they disappear. They like poof away. So I really just want to like state that. But the thing is, if someone doesn't tell you it's as easy as that, you just need to say no, you're not allowed in my realm and you're not welcome back. That's such a powerful thing to mention too, to say you're not welcome back. Because some, like usually just saying no is good enough, but every now and then you might have some like little trickster, and they're not like necessarily bad. It's just like, say they're gonna like always steal your car keys and like kind of make your life a little more miserable and always make you late for things. Like that's just an annoying energy, right? Like it's funny how some people talk about energies having to be really bad, but it's just like, if something makes your life more miserable in any way or like annoying in any way, then to me that thing's gotta go. So I know a lot of people are like okay with keys going missing and they're like having to look for things. I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. That's not cute. That thing's gonna go and we're not gonna talk, like we're not gonna like allow that. So I have like some firm boundaries with things, but it took me a while to get there. So I'm really excited for whoever actually is gonna take that class, because I feel like, oh, I can just feel like an energy shift. And once I mentioned that, I was like, oh, your life is just, you're gonna get way more confident and you're gonna understand how easy it is to get rid of things or clear your house or get things like out of your like aura that you don't want. So that's super awesome. So the other thing I want to talk about, these things were pretty big back when I first started, and I was quite like afraid of like basically my shadow, because I like had so much fear in me. Shielding yourself, super powerful. You're basically just like covering yourself, your aura, your energetic field. You can do it over your house. You can do an energy shield on anything. And it basically just doesn't let anything that isn't of love and light and the highest good, and I would say of all involved, to come through, to stick to you, to be in your space. So for me, if it's a fear around like energy attachments, or like other realm things, like say just like an elemental. Elementals aren't bad or good, they're neutral. But like I said, those ones can create a lot of chaos, and some people think that that's cute. I don't think that's cute. Like an elemental can maybe mess with your animals a lot. Like maybe your dog is always freaking out. That could be an elemental who just kind of found himself in the wrong place. And like I said, he's not bad or good. To them, they're kind of like, they find things that can be frustrating to us funny. Like they're kind of like those annoying jokers is how I put it. And there's actually quite a few spirits that are like that. Like they're not bad or good. They just make your life more frustrating, or they like to like scare your pets because it's funny to them. It's like people who like to jump scare their friends all the time. It's funny to the friend who's scaring them, but to the person who's scared, you're like, not funny, man. Like you scared the shit out of me. So maybe that's like a good analogy. So what I did, and selenite might be a good crystal to actually talk about with this. So to me, if you can see how like shiny a selenite crystal is, and selenite is basically doing what I was just saying, like it doesn't let anything that is not of love and light and for the highest good pass through. So this little guy came off a windowsill because I just put them by my windows or on top of my windows, and I just like to make sure that nothing like just accidentally stumbles through the house or anything like that. Like I said, I'm not trying to like keep out like bad spirits, but I just don't want annoying things in my house. I don't want, like, my cats are pretty sensitive, so like even if a passed over loved one is just like trying to hang out because they are like, you know, missing my company or something, or some of them it's like if you're energetically open, like maybe like someone's recently deceased friend wants me to pass a message to my neighbor. I'm not like really into that. So I put like a selenite tower on my window because it's just part of my boundaries. I already have boundaries around, I'm like not going to spread messages for people like that. But this is just to like reinforce it. It's like my double safety. So once again, I want to say, like, I know mediumship has been perceived to be a scary thing, but like, can you imagine like one of your friends coming up to you? Like, it's no different. It's just like a different frequency. So it's just like if a stranger comes up to me at a grocery store and is like, can you tell that woman over there that she looks pretty? Like, I'm kind of like, I'm good. Like, you can tell her yourself. So anyways, I may be getting some judgment here because I'm not really called that much to mediumship. It's not really my thing. There's a lot of other things I like to do. I like to do a lot more healing for like the earth and stuff. So I'm pretty busy with that. Anyways, I'm just rambling now because I feel like someone's judging me about not wanting to pass on mediumship messages. We need people like you. If you're thinking it's so silly, I don't like to do it, we need people like you who aren't annoyed by it and have like better extroverted skills to like communicate those messages. I can be really introverted sometimes, so especially at grocery stores, I'm so not extroverted. So anyways, selenite, you might be interested in just getting like a little selenite stick or a cute teeny tower, and I just put it there. And the thing is, like, don't look at this as like, this is keeping me safe from all the bad things. You have to get rid of the word bad. It's just annoying things, like anything that just like I said, makes your day a little more annoying or a little less easy, like losing your car keys or freaking out your pets and thinking it's hilarious. Or I think like the pet thing is the most common one. Like all of a sudden your cats or your dogs are like just like freaking out, especially dogs. They don't like that stuff. So it's, I don't know, I just like putting it up. I also just think they're cute, and I just feel like it purifies and like heightens the frequency in a room too. So I often think about that. Like I feel like when the sun hits it and it like is reflecting the light into the room, it's just way more amazing. This is funny. This feels like way less of a card reading and more like a little like hangout with you guys. But anyways, I was talking about energy shielding. So if you can picture this type of like substance around you or your house too. I get the vibe that you want to protect your house or clear your house. This stone by nature clears. So I would just visualize like this kind of material coming from like the clouds, the sky, outer space down and like in a pillar around me. That's what I used to do because the bubble didn't quite feel right. I liked that the energy was coming from above and connecting to Mother Earth. So anything that came into my field that wasn't for my highest good, if it stepped through it, it'd literally kind of get recycled into Mother Earth. So most things won't do that because they don't want to be recycled into Mother Earth, so they'll just stay away. So it's kind of like a win-win. It's in the highest good of everyone involved. You can also do that with your house. You can also ask Archangel Michael to shield your house if you're not certain about it. And if you say it and you feel good about it, then just trust that it's been done. That's like also a big thing. If you doubt yourself, then find a different way. Because if you're doubting yourself, then that means you don't really believe in it. You don't, like, something intuitively is telling you that wasn't the right way to do it. So just try one of the many options. Try the energy shield, try like the pillar of light, try asking Archangel Michael, try asking your power animal. You will find a thing that resonates with you. Or for me, there's even some situations where I'll feel like I just want to do a pillar of light and that feels strong enough for me. That feels good. In other situations, I just actually want to just take a piece of sage and I want to like sage my house and just say, into the smoke I release any of my doubts, fears, limiting beliefs, anything that's not serving my highest good and love and light must leave now and is not welcome back. And I just go through my house and I do that, and I make sure one window's open, because if there's something in your house, you don't ever want to like literally make it be purified, because it's like not always in their highest good. Like, it's say like you're like, if there's like a friend who's passed away, you don't want to make them get saged. So you always leave a window open for them to leave and they're not welcome back. Or I guess if they want to get saged, they'll get saged. But most things don't. They want to stay as they are. So it's like important that you also give them the option too, right? Okay. Trying to think the other thing, vacuum away the fear. So this is really interesting. If you've ever read Doreen Virtue's old books, she talks about Archangel Michael specifically and how he will take like pretty much like an energetic vacuum and put it over your head, and he'll like vacuum out your fear, any blocks. So if you're a visual person, I would always see like if there's any like fear in me, I would almost see it as a black spot somewhere in me energetically. And it would be in different places, but usually it would be in my stomach or my gut. And I would ask him to vacuum in my fear, so I would see him like suck that black little fear dot out of me into his little vacuum. And then what he does is he transmutes it into this heavy, heavy, thick, beautiful, high frequency love and light, basically. I don't know how to explain it. Like Doreen Virtue explains it as like toothpaste thick, like love and light, and he puts it back into you to like help heal everything else and clear everything in your aura. So I did that a ton. Like I had so much fear about things, so I did that a ton. I had happened to read her books, and that really resonated with me to like basically clear out my block and replace it with love and light. Another way you can do that is breath work, breathing in love and light energy from above your head, and breathing out anything that doesn't serve you to be transmuted or returned to Mother Earth. You might have heard things like that that's doing the same thing, except for in the other version, it's Archangel Michael kind of doing it on your behalf. In the other version, it's you doing it for yourself using the universal energy that's available to you. And then, yeah, there is like the focus on service. Maybe I should talk a little bit about this. So yeah, I think it's just coming back to the whole like focusing on the fear and like the what ifs and the self-doubt and like what's going on or what does that mean. It's saying and they're always trying to understand, like they know it's hard not just to worry about that, but they're saying if you actually just focus on what you can do to be of service. So literally just ask, how can I be of service for the highest good of love and light right now? That will kind of take your focus away from the fear or the what you can't control, and put your focus back on what you can offer right now, what skills you have right now, what you can do right now. And this is such a beautiful card. And another thing I want to mention here is I definitely get the vibe that whoever you are in this general card reading, like Sacred Purpose card coming out, focus on service, joy, fresh air, all this stuff here is telling me like this journey isn't going to be short-lived. Like you guys awoke to it, you're entering it, you're open to it now, and it's going to play a huge role in, I would say, your career moving forward. Like this feels like lifestyle change, no going back. You're very energetically open and sensitive. Yeah, I feel like it's almost like you're stepping into your calling now. So what does this involve? A lot of energy work. So I don't totally know. I think there's one of you is for sure a medium. It's just so funny. It's because I'm like, I don't know what job you're doing. And then there's that same person who's like, oh, I can't believe you're not passing messages. Sorry again. That's why you're going to do it for me. I won't need to be one of the many people doing it. But yeah, definitely one of you is going to get into specifically mediumship. So much light around the head. Yeah, okay, so it's a lot of you though, it's still being determined. So this is the thing. A lot of people think there's just one energetic healing practice thing they're supposed to do. That is so not true. People are so multifaceted now. Like you're not just gonna be like a Reiki practitioner. You're not just gonna be one thing. You're gonna do multiple things, which is why it's so hard to like even put a label on it. Like they're saying like you are an energy healer, you are a light worker. And however you feel called to bring light is how you'll be of service. So they're almost saying like, if you don't want to be a medium, you can just choose not to be. If you don't want to clear houses, you don't have to. Instead, you can do something else. And it's so fascinating how a lot of people, when they see Sacred Purpose, they're like, well, there must be one thing that I am called and I'm here to do. And they're saying, no, you're here to do, you're going to bring light. You're going to bring some kind of spiritual healing or energy healing to people. And now is the time to explore that. I would recommend taking courses. So trying new things, maybe try like Qigong, or try like a psychic reading class, try tea leaf reading, try what, there's so many things I don't even know of. Breath, I don't get breathwork vibes so much for this pile. It doesn't, like, breathwork is so powerful, but I don't feel like it's energy based enough for you. You guys feel very psychic. You feel very clairvoyant, clairsentience. You're going to be doing something super energy related. For sure. That's like the only thing I know for sure. Maybe you're gonna read palms. Nah, it's just gonna be more than that though. You're definitely gonna have multiple things. I think that's why you're gonna find yourself taking a bunch of different courses. Maybe take some shamanic ones, probably with the power animal. You might take some angelic courses, and that's good. That's gonna balance it out, because I think in the way the world is going, you can't just be one thing anymore. Like, no one is just one thing. It isn't black and white. It isn't just this is the ultimate solution. These hybrid sort of programs, that's not the right word, these like putting everything together and like coming from different backgrounds and traditions and putting it together in a way that works for you and is unique to you is the new way. Yeah, and just they keep saying like stepping into your purpose. So don't feel like there's one thing you're gonna do, because I'm just gonna reiterate that there isn't just one thing. You have multiple things you're gonna learn. It could be singing, sorry, I didn't mean sound. I was gonna say singing bowls, but sound healing of some sort. It could be working with sacred geometry and shape form in a healing center. It could be somehow, some of you are gonna get into like old sacred rituals, like really powerful old sacred energy rituals. I know that this seems scary. It's like, it's coming again from like a lot of old knowledge from Egyptian times, before we sort of lost our knowledge, are coming forward right now. And I think you as a pile are going to start dabbling in old like Egyptian energy ways and ceremonies. Yeah, there's so much potential here. They're just saying take classes. And once again, with the whole fear thing, like, just if you start feeling overwhelmed, take a few breaths. Do a shielding form, whether it's Archangel Michael, you visualize a shield, you call in your power animal, you call in your guardian angels, do one of those things, any of those things, all of those things, until you feel good. Sage your home if that makes you feel good. And then, or you can also use sound healing to clear your home too. You could like go around the house and ding your bowl, or a couple of bowls, or those little like Tibetan gongs. I can't remember their names right now, but you could also use those to like just hit each other. Yeah, fresh air. I like this. Getting out of the house. Yeah, okay, some of you, what's going on here? Well, okay, so I guess this does make sense. A dark night of soul does usually follow like a huge spiritual awakening or opening like this. So there is a little message here about literally getting out of your house, whether you're just walking to your mailbox. They're saying like the energy of your house, you know, like if you've been in there, if you've been a little depressed in there, if you felt stuck in there, that energy does sort of just sit in the house. So actually, sorry, as soon as I was tuning into this, I think you should clear your houses with sage, or I actually do feel good about the sage thing though. I think you're going to feel good about it. That's why I feel good about it. Or with a singing bowl of some sort, and just going around your whole house and just setting the intention of releasing any old stuck emotions, fears, or doubts. Or even depression. If you know you've had depression, just set the intention of clearing that out. And yeah, it is important to make sure you go outside for even a limited time, whatever you can do, because they're saying like it clears you, literally clears you when you go out there. You're like in a totally different energy. And the joy card, I feel like, is so important for this pile, because it's saying like you're taking on this psychic, clairvoyant kind of role very seriously. And they're like, remember that it is fun, that it can be joyous. And I think that's why I come back to the classes. Taking classes and sharing your experiences with other people will bring more joy. Like, it makes it feel lighter. It's like fun to have someone else in it with you. And I feel like you're just needing that. You're just needing some support and some like reassurance. And I just, yeah, I feel really good about classes for you. But, you know, you always have to just follow your own heart and know what you can afford. But yeah, online classes are pretty popular since COVID. So If you speak the language, you can probably do an online course in a country maybe where the currency is cheaper. So sometimes that helps. Like for example, like I was saying, if you're going to take a course in Canada online and you're from the US, it's going to be significantly cheaper because the dollar's worth less. Or Australian courses. I think the Australian dollar is even less than the Canadian one. So yeah, things to look into. Know that there's always options. Okay. I kind of think this is the end of it. I'm just trying to like ask. I definitely think you have a close connection with fairy energy, super close connection. And that might even be why I was talking about setting firm boundaries about what is funny and fun and what isn't. So if you're like losing things all the time, just like say, yo, fairies, this isn't how I feel loved and supported. And they just stop. I know some people don't actually like stopping it. Some people actually love it. They do laugh when they're like, oh, the fairies took this thing again. But as you can see, like, I don't find it funny. I don't like practical pranks. I just feel like they're only funny for the person playing the joke, not for the recipient. So that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, okay. Also a little confirmation on the healing thing. Like this is like a healing sigil in this card. So I feel like it's like saying like this is where you're going. This is where you're headed. You are going to be some sort of energy healer. Yeah, it's not even determined yet because you have to see what you like. But yeah, it's going to be really cool. Remember, this is a fun journey and it's a cool journey. And if you're not feeling that way, take a class, reach out to other people who are in a similar situation, because a lot of people do just need to share stories and find a bit of a community in this. Okay, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Maybe look into that course by Diana if you can find it. I think you should be able to. She's in Canada, so if you're not finding it, maybe say Canada. Diana Lynn Mayorga. Okay. Best of luck. I'm leaving this file now. Bye-bye, guys. Hello, pile 3s. You all chose the piece of calcite. That right there, and let's see what you all have here. I think you got some extra cards, yeah, definitely from the other piles. So we have Spread Your Wings, Moon Cycles. I've actually never seen this card come out in this deck specifically. Chakra Clearing. Also, the other thing I'm noticing right away is that the 3 doves here look like a pyramid or a triangle shape. Prosperity. You are not alone. Oh. Send love. Self-reflection. Self-care. Wow, the other interesting thing is look how similar these stances are for the angels in these cards from 2 different decks. Self-care, and Spread Your Wings. And then you also got 2 of these cards where everyone else got 1. You have, you know what, I'm just gonna try my best to say this. You have Sow This and Nemphthys, I think. Nemphthys, the High Priestess, and Star Consciousness. Star Consciousness is so appropriate. As you can see, I've chosen a Star Seed Angel deck. So hang on here. Well, can you even see that if I put it there? I put them on the side. So it says Generosity and Intuition Mystery. And I feel very drawn to the moon here. A lot of sacred geometry things, I think, too. Like the Metatron symbol, Flower of Life, and I do think like the pyramid in itself feels really important for this pile. And I kept getting drawn to, I see it as like crystals or special sacred like rocks that this person's hanging on to almost use to amplify their energy that they're sending, or like the healing they're sending to someone. Okay, pile 3, so it's super cool. I was just asking like, what's going on here? Like these two are similar, and then these two are like kind of like similar but opposites, and then I finally clued in. So this is kind of discussing a lot of things coming in. So I feel like the theme for this pile is quite different than the last two piles, where this is talking about your manifestations that are coming through or coming in. And they're even showing me that you've been working on this for a while. I've done a few different things, but they're discussing what's coming in through feminine energy and what's coming in through the masculine energy. So the bottom row is feminine energy. And it's interesting because I kept thinking, this to me is symbolizing the feminine, I mean High Priestess, and this here is symbolizing to me the masculine energy and the work you've done in the masculine. So super cool. And then these cards are discussing this. These are things that you've worked on through moon cycles, so plural. So I think, yeah, it's hard to say, sorry. General card reading, it's saying for some of you, it could be things that you've been actually actively manifesting in for a year, I think, is approximately the time they're telling me. Yeah, I think a year. And they do want to note that the things that you've been trying to manifest in, yes, you have wanted them longer than that, but you weren't actively taking action or doing things to manifest them in. So it's not that you weren't just not trying. I want to make that clear. I just see, like, I think you started doing moon rituals, meditation rituals, intentionally connecting with people. So I think there was like some networking done. I think there might have been courses or classes taken. Mentors felt like you ask questions to people, and they might not have been long-term mentors. I think there was just like you had an opportunity and you asked the right questions. And I just really want to emphasize the reason why it was different when you were doing these manifestation things was that before you kept wishing, and then instead of wishing, you decided you were going to go out there and take it. But they are like being very clear that you did a lot of good masculine things, like masculine energy based things, like action steps. And you did a lot of good feminine energy. Like if you look at all these angels on the bottom level here, can you see that all their eyes are closed and their heads are almost like bowed? And I see this as being such like the powerful form of really releasing it to the universe. Like all these cards were put with the stars were put on the bottom row, and I thought this was going to be because it was going to talk about like starseed origins, but it's not talking about that at all. It literally was like, no, it was symbolic. Like you decided that you were going to try a different way, and in each card it tells a story about how you found a different way to manifest in the feminine energy, these things that you're wanting. So I actually might start with the bottom row with the feminine energy first. So the self-care thing, that one was huge. Like and this is all like recognizing things that you have done or completed, I believe. And I think still are doing, but I see like self-care, like you started prioritizing taking care of your physical health and your physical needs, as well as respecting your energy levels. And so say if you weren't feeling up to seeing family that day, then you wouldn't go see them. Say if you just felt like staying in, having like an Epsom salt bath, then you did that, or doing a breath work. Like you, in some ways you slowed down in the right moments, and you sped up in the right ones as well. But you became more self-honoring, so that's super awesome. You started learning to intuitively listen to your body. The self-reflection, I see this as a period where you became very self-accountable and reflective. So how I see it is like seeing how and what areas of your life needed to heal or change. That's what they're saying. Seeing yourself, looking at yourself. And I don't know if previously you had a hard time like fully accepting and seeing things you weren't proud of, things you weren't feeling like, yeah, I guess it's like things you might have felt some shame around. And they're saying like you held space for yourself to see them, and that allowed a lot of things to heal. And then the sending love, I see this as like a chapter in your life where you, I do think you use crystals. There's some kind of work you're doing with crystals, or rocks, but they feel like very high energy rocks or crystals. And I feel like this is you doing the healing work, and I think it's energetic, with either these parts of yourself that you felt ashamed of, but I also think with like family members, old friends, old colleagues. Like, I think you literally might have done like some ho'oponoponoing where you like said like, I love you, please forgive me. You did some good things. You sent a lot of love, I think, to your past self, your inner child, your younger self, which was really, really healing. And I really do feel like you had to go in these steps, like the taking care of yourself, intuitively listening to your body, seeing things in all sides of you and accepting them, sending love and healing energy to those parts of you. And then this whole you are not alone, I actually see this as being like kind of the end chapter where I think you really opened up spiritually. You really released your power to, like, I shouldn't say that. You really released, you kept your power. Sorry, let's just bleep that out. It's more so like you released your control is what I was trying to say, sorry. Like, you know how a lot of times when we're in our masculine energy, we feel like we have to do, what can we fix? How can we like correct something? It's very like do. And I think you released that. I see you like surrendering, like putting the intention out there, knowing what you wanted and saying, this is what I want, but you released the actual control of how it was going to come in, when it was going to come in, and the very human ego-ness of it. And I see this as being like, these were the steps for your completion of mastering the manifestation in the feminine energy. So if I didn't say this at the start, like, I think what you're manifesting in, this is a confirmation reading that it is coming. It's here. Like, if it's like, I'm almost like, it's like, it feels so close to you that I don't know if you actually have already gotten it or if you're just waiting for it to fully come in. Say you've gotten a lot of pieces of it, but there's just a few things missing. It's like saying it's not missing. It's actually in your aura. It's like in your energy field already. It just needs a little more time for you to live life into it, if that makes sense. But it's like completed. Your manifestation is completed. Yeah, it's super cool. I would almost say like you're ready to start your next manifestation list. That's like a funny thing to say. You're ready to be grateful and enjoy what you were trying to manifest in, but you're now ready to like start on another one. So let's talk about the masculine energy now. It says spread your wings. So I see this as, and I feel like it goes well with this, like instead of keeping your head down and like feeling like, oh, someday I'll do this, or I wish I did that, or oh, I'll get around to this. It's like, bam, you stop doing that. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. Like, I feel like you just started taking action. I think there was networking. I think there was learning. I think there was just a lot of decisive choices. No more doubting, just going for it. The moon cycles. So I think for me, this is such a symbol of, like, there's just there's like so many messages coming from this one card. It's like a little overwhelming to reverb all of it or say it all. So the triangle and the 3 feel so important for this pile. I think you literally went to healing circles, healing groups. You worked in, basically what it's saying is you worked in a group for more powerful results and more powerful, what is that word? Powerful, there was like a more powerful outcome because you didn't do it alone. You did it with others. So if it's, some of you could be like career, you're trying to manifest something in, and now you're in a group or you have a supportive group, so it's much easier. So this is also working like the networking energy, so much communication. So it's almost like you got some divine inspiration, divine guidance, and you took flight and you went for it. Here it's talking about how you communicated and I keep getting networked, you networked, in the best of ways, not in like the corny business way, but in like you made really good supportive connections. And this took time. They're emphasizing this. The moon cycle card is literally representing that it was over many months that this was happening. This was like an ongoing process, and probably still is an ongoing process. The chakra clearing, I think I see this as taking like, what do I see this as? This also feels like networking and making the right connections, but it feel like you really listen to your instincts and your intuition. Do you think you guys did more meditations or something like that? Meditation definitely feels like it was involved in this process, and lots of visualization, lots of reflection. I'm like, what did you go to? You did something super powerful. Like, he's standing on, like I said, a flower of life, and he's receiving like the Metatron symbol above him. So this was a huge step. Seems like a super cool thing, but I don't know what you did. It's a general card reading. Maybe that's the problem. It's too different for everyone, but this was huge. This was like, this is where the energies met together. Like, you raised your frequency, you got yourself on the right vibe, the right, like they say, like frequency, so that you can meet the abundance you wanted. You were at the same like resonance or hertz. I think so, yeah. And like, did you go to healing classes? You might have gotten a lot of Reiki, acupuncture, something big and cool happened to you here. It cleared your chakras, cleared and opened your chakras, and you got a lot of divine inspiration and guidance. And like, you just knew what to do. And this prosperity thing here is, I just believe that you were in the masculine energy trying to manifest, I do think, finances and a more stable career. So that can look different for everyone, but I think you just didn't want to have the stresses of finances anymore. And there's other things you're manifesting in, but this one's a big one. And I think this is the thing where you're starting to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. You're starting to see these finances and this prosperity is changing, but you're waiting like a little bit for it to really come in. But I mean, this is where I have to re-say, like, I see this already like in your energetic field, in your aura. Like, this is coming in. It might just be, it's like it's out of the energetical realm and now it just needs time in the physical realm to get to you. So I don't think it's gonna take long. I keep seeing that. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how money's randomly gonna fall into your like bank account or into your lap, but I just think it's going to. And for everyone watching this, that will look like something totally different. For some of you, it literally just looks like a couple $100s extra. For other ones, it almost feels like thousands and thousands extra, hundreds of thousands extra. Yeah, some of you have really big plans for the world, but all in love and light. That's the amazing thing. Like, you wouldn't have gotten it in such a beautiful, loving frequency if you hadn't done all this like deep work in the feminine. So it's like you being so good at taking action and doing the emotional work basically brought this in very quickly for you. And I know it might not feel that way, but like I have to keep mentioning, because I keep saying like you only like really energetically and physically started to take action, I think, in the last year, they're saying. Roughly the last year. So that was a game changer. And I really do see the masculine and the feminine energy. Like, you worked on both. It's so genius. You did so good, guys. Like, you've done amazing. Things are coming in. And I just keep seeing that pyramid. So if that means something to you, if you've been trying to think about something with a pyramid, this is a confirmation about something about a pyramid for you. So please take that as it resonates. Yeah. Oh, this is amazing. I think this is actually all I have to really mention to you. It's just like they really wanted to confirm the beauty coming in, the wonderful things coming in for you, and just how much work you've done. It's outstanding. It's so outstanding. I hope that just like even says it all enough. There's just amazing, amazing things coming your way. Yeah, accountability and doing the work and taking action, like you've lived that the last little bit. So just such a good job. Okay, congratulations. I want to say that because I'm just like, oh, I can see that it, whatever it is, it's here for you. So that's so cool. That's so cool to be the messenger of that. Blessings for you. Yes. Oh, and there's so much like light around these people's heads. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing for this pile, but I even feel like for the prosperity and abundance, the energy around it just feels like you want the highest good for everyone. And I don't mean just like everyone, like some people, you know, I mean like the world. You feel like you want the highest good for the whole world. Just, you know, not so many people. I'm just kidding. That's obviously a lot of people, but it's super cool. You guys are gonna do some cool things in your lifetime, and you're only just getting started. That's what they keep emphasizing. You've only just begun. All right, my battery's dying. This is a good sign. I'm gonna let you go now. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Reiki session of this pick a card. It is going to be for all 3 piles, and sorry, my cat really wants to go for a walk, so she is standing at the door meowing. If you hear her, that's what that is. Yeah, so I think as per usual, I'll keep it at about 10 minutes, and I'm just gonna focus on sending Reiki energy for you to use however you feel like you need. So yeah, keeping it pretty open. I feel like you know yourself better than anyone else, and if you feel like you have like an ache or a pain in your body somewhere, or if you feel like you're feeling really ungrounded, like whatever it is, just I want you to set your intention before receiving this on what you would like to receive. So you can even just say like, whatever is in my highest good, in love and light, or I would love for my neck pain to go away, or I would love to get relief from the pain that I'm experiencing right now in my knee, whatever it is. So yeah, I'll give you a second. You can pause it if you need a little bit longer to just sort of set the intention of what you would like this Reiki to do for you, and then I'm just gonna get started, and yeah, I'll just play some singing bowl music off of YouTube while I do this. I feel like it's nice to have something going while I'm doing this for you, so alright, I'm gonna get started now. Okay, everyone, that's the end of the Reiki session. Please drink a glass of water to help ground yourself and clear any energies that may have been released. And just take your time standing up and coming back to the present moment. I want to wish you all a beautiful, wonderful day, whether it's evening or night or morning, whatever it is for you, and hopefully I catch you all around.